Hey everybody, it's Julie Hoffman. Thanks for being here. Welcome to the Gold Nuggets podcast. Today's guest is Kelowna Realtor Colin Krieg. And I met Colin because I have the Okanagan Real Estate Investment Group, and he just signed up and showed up for an event and was like, "Yeah, I'm here." And we just chatted a little bit at the event, and then I called him afterward, and I was able to learn a lot about him. And he's a really busy guy. So thank you, Colin, for taking time out of your schedule to be with us today. He's got a cool story. Not only is he a realtor, he's a real estate investor. And he actually comes from a lineage of real estate investors and realtors. And so I thought he'd be a great person to talk to today. I know you're going to learn a lot. He has a bunch of lessons that he's learned in his time on his journey that I know you're going to learn a ton about. I can't wait. I can't wait to dive into it. I don't know anything about it, so it's a surprise to you and to me. I'm going to make sure that you know how to get in touch with Colin somewhere around here, and we'll go from there. So, Colin, thanks again for being here.
Hey, of course. I'm happy to be here. This is great.
Why don't you just tell people who you are and maybe a little bit about your story?
Yeah, sure. So I moved to Kelowna when I was about 5 years old and have been here ever since. Why would you move? It's beautiful.
Mhm.
When I was 12, I got into designing websites and started selling websites. That got me my first car and put me into university. I took business school. And my dad was a realtor. He started in 79 selling real estate. And he said, Colin, websites are great and all, but you should really think about selling houses. And he just kept planting that seed and kept planting that seed. So as soon as I was 19, I took my real estate license. I was the youngest realtor in BC at the time. And I just haven't looked back since.
So how old were you, sorry, when you started?
19
19, and you were the youngest
in
ever?
BC. No, just in BC at that time. You
That's
have to be
cool.
19 to take your license. So
Yeah,
yeah, it was good.
neat. And then, okay, and how did things go?
It was a rough start. I mean, I'm lucky that my parents didn't hand me anything. I still had to work for everything, which at the time I didn't love. I kind of secretly was hoping they would just feed me a bunch of business, but that wasn't the case. And it really was for the best. It helped me learn how to do things properly and how to hunt and gather rather than just be fed all the time. So it was a slow start, but started building momentum. And my first year in, I made an award level at Remax that I was really excited about, and it just kept growing since then. So I'm really lucky that it's something that I still love and can enjoy.
That is awesome. So what happened to the website business?
It just sort of fell to the side. I still kept hosting some things, and I dabbled here and there. But I mean, the technology skills that I've learned have translated tremendously. I fell in love with photography and video for a time, so that's helped translate. But even just doing little graphic design things, I understand how it works, and editing our website, things like that has been
That's
nice.
awesome. It's nice to know how to do things in case.
Yeah, totally. You never know when it comes in handy.
Yeah, I mean, delegation is absolutely important, but sometimes you got to hop in the pilot seat.
I agree.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, all right. You want to dive right into, and for context, everybody, we are both Colin and I are in the Kelowna area. I'm in West Kelowna. He's in Kelowna, and it is March of 2024. And we're
That's
going to
right.
talk a little bit about, I want to ask you a little bit about your thoughts on the market right now.
Okay.
But first, let's get into your lessons.
Yeah.
Do you
So
want to do you want to share your screen, or are you good?
Um, no, that's fine. I
Okay,
just have them written down. It's all good.
perfect.
So I first started investing in real estate and I was looking for cash flow. Um, that's not true. The first house I moved into ended up being my first rental property as I moved out of it. I kept it. I think that's common for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was a duplex with suites. So I bought one side, my parents bought the other side. It just sort of fell into our lap that my dad had sold it and his client couldn't complete. So we had this opportunity and I started what they call now house hacking right out of the gate. And so I had moved in upstairs and took the smallest bedroom and rented out the master or primary bedroom and the second bedroom. And then I rented out the suite, and then there were garages in the back, and we didn't give those to the tenants. We rented those out separately for storage. And it was amazing. I was basically almost living for free. And as time went on and rents went up, started making a little bit of money. And as we moved on from there, kept it and still have it to this day. And it's been phenomenal.
But
So
it's, yeah,
from there, I learned the more kitchens you have on the smallest piece of land makes the most amount of sense from a cash flow perspective. Land is expensive. And the more kitchens we have, the more units we have, we get paid by the kitchen more than we do by the bedroom, I find. So I started looking for rental properties that could cash flow. And I would look at anything that had 2 suites that I could add a third to. And so I found a house in Glenmore, 2010 build, and we added a third suite to it. It was, I think, 700,000 at the time, or 750, I think we paid. Did a little reno, and we had cash flow. It was amazing. This was in 2016, I think.
yeah,
Before that, I had built a spec property. I had partnered with a builder and thought, okay, well, what a great opportunity to learn about what things cost and how things work. And it was a really good experience. Didn't make a lot of money. Timing is everything.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
you think these builders make money hand over fist. It's not always true.
Mm.
It really depends. So I think that was a good experience as well for me.
Yeah, so sometimes these builders, they don't make a lot because they've got to pay their guys or their girls,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
And it's ultimately what's left at the end of the deal, at the end of the
yes,
build.
yes.
Yeah.
And you know,
What
we
year
had
was
bigger carrying
that?
costs.
Yeah, so
Sorry,
so what year was that you
2015.
okay. Hmm.
So the market was pretty flat.
Yeah,
It wasn't anything special. It ended up finishing the build late fall, so we carried it through the winter. And then spring 2016, the market started to take off, but we didn't know that yet. And so we
yeah.
sold in, I think, February 2016, right before the market took off.
Yeah, what was your crystal ball broken? Mine was.
Yeah, it still is.
Yeah. Yeah, mine is still on the fritz, I tell you. I want to highlight a couple of gold nuggets here because it's called the Gold Nuggets podcast. I love how you house hacked. If you can do that, people absolutely do it. And there are many ways to do that. If you are like myself, I have a 7-bedroom house and I only have 3 kids at home right now. And my husband and I are definitely planning on, making some strategic changes to this place. There are foreign students you can rent to. There are all kinds of, students in general that you can rent to, all kinds of options. With the new Airbnb rules, it's kind of tricky, but sounds like you were able to do more out of your primary residence. House hacking is just so smart that I know a good couple handfuls of people that's exactly how they started, to basically just live, if not rent free, a lot less than as if they were renting, and then somebody else is helping to pay off your mortgage. What was the second gold nugget that I had? We were just talking about what were we just talking? Oh,
Spec house.
spec house. Ugh, shoot.
It'll come back. I spoke for too long. I rambled.
No, no, no. No, it's okay. Yeah. That one alone, it's gold. People just uh here's the thing. Real estate can be challenging. But so can not having enough money when you retire. So maybe sometimes it's better to do something that's uncomfortable now so that you can experience, a little bit more comfort later. Anyway, this
Agreed.
other thing I was going to say is floating around in my head, so I'll get to it.
Interrupt me
I'll
when it
get to
comes
it.
back. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no worries.
Well, on that note, like I always thought, okay, if we're gonna fail, let's fail sooner and earlier so we have time to recoup and rebuild. And so I did want to push the envelope a little bit. And so after having a couple of cash flow properties, we said, okay, well, let's try and focus long term.
Yeah.
Where is the value going to be long term in Kelowna? And at the time, council made it abundantly clear we are no longer growing, we're densifying.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, so then land is what's going to be valuable. So let's buy properties on bigger pieces of land and
Yeah.
central locations,
Yeah.
because that's going to become more valuable. Now, the problem is, like I said before, smallest piece of land, most kitchens cash flows. Biggest piece of land, fewer kitchens, doesn't cash flow very well. And so it's going to be painful.
Yeah.
And we knew that going in. And um, I'll circle back to why that's so painful right now. But it's it's one of those things. Again, if I'm going to fail, I want to do it sooner than later. I don't want to do it when I'm 65 or 70 years old. It's just too risky at that point.
And I remember what I was going to say, and I totally agree with you. It was when you built your house and it got finished and it was ready and you're heading into the winter. And it's not always, golly, it's not always easy to plan for that. But if you can, plan for things to be completed in like February, then you can stage it March,
Yeah.
list it April. Aren't
Yeah.
90% of homes that are bought and sold, doesn't it happen in the month of April or something like that?
Yeah,
Is
spring.
that an accurate
April, May,
statistic?
June are the three strongest months of the year.
Okay.
Yes.
So good. And so smart of you to go into knowing it was going to be painful. Some people think that it's just going to be roses and cash flow, and ooh, the rent's
Yeah.
always going to be paid on time. Nothing's going to
Yeah.
go wrong.
Yeah.
There's just things that go wrong.
Totally.
Yeah, not for the faint of heart. Anyway, keep going.
Um, yeah, so basically that's it. We shifted our focus and we decided to start acquiring properties that had lots of land and not cash flow. And I think we're lucky that we have the cash flowing properties because they help offset the rents from the other ones that aren't covering themselves. But um, some of the lessons I've learned over the years on that spec build, it was shocking to me. Now, I don't know, it was a partnership with Scott from Authentic. I don't know if you know him,
Oh.
but we had a partnership set up and he pulled out these plans. He says, Colin, I think this is probably what makes the most sense for this lot. It was a walk up, made sense. They're less expensive to build, better price point for the market. And he pulled out these plans and he just started marking them up like crazy. The things he could see in the blink of an eye that, maybe if I sat down with the plans for 2 or 3 hours, I might have come across, but widening the staircase and adding a window here, and we're going to change this, and we're going to change that, and we're going to modify this and this and this. And I don't know if he saw them ahead of time or not, but it blew my mind on how quickly he could identify these things and taught a valuable lesson of hiring the right people and working with professionals in their space and how valuable that really is, and really highlighted that for me.
Oh yeah, that sounds like you learned. It sounds like you learned a lot. And like, have you built anything since?
No.
Have you renovated anything since?
Yep.
Okay. Were you able to take some of those learns into the
Yes,
renovation?
definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. No,
Yeah.
it's been it was eye-opening. I'm grateful for the experience.
Mhm.
Again, it wasn't a moneymaker, but it was a good experience.
Good.
I learned about verbal contracts and how effective those are. When you make promises with tenants and you agree to things and you say, okay, if I do X, Y, and Z, and then we're going to change the rent because of X, Y, and Z, and I spent $20,000 improving the property, and it was a misunderstanding, I'm told.
Oh,
So that's fun. I know now I have a high level of trust for people, and you got to put things in writing. If it's
yeah.
not in writing, it just doesn't count.
Mhm.
But I wanted to believe the best.
Yeah.
Be human. Understand. Life happens. This is a home for them. So we put Christmas lights on all the homes every winter. We paid to have them put up and taken down professionally through Shack Shine. Yeah, there's a little bit of investment up front to buy the lights, and then it's a few $100s to put them up and down every year. But how special is that to come home to your house and it feels like Christmas? I really like that. The tenants really like that. And for us, turnover is not great. We like long-term stability.
Mhm.
We price our rents a little bit under market so we can attract the best tenant, because we know that that's really easy,
That's
or it is really easy if you do it right.
mhm. Little things. I mean, it's kind of a big thing to put up Christmas lights. It's something I've never thought of doing that.
Well, and
And
I
shack
don't do
shine.
it. Shackshine does it.
Well, no, exactly. I mean, I've never thought of doing that for a tenant, hiring a company to do that. Such a good idea. And it's good for the neighborhood and it's good for shack shine.
Yeah.
Those guys are right by me. I
Are
live in
they?
Kelowna and they're like my neighbors. They have like 6 vehicles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's
Amazing.
quite an operation.
I
Yeah,
guess so.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it's always been a good experience. And again, if you have 2 or 3 units in one house, then you kind of split the cost between all the units. It's
yeah.
it's not that bad.
That's great. What's your favorite area of where your rentals are?
We're primarily Glenmore to the Lower Mission is sort of our stretch. My parents had some townhomes in Rutland. They had 11 units there
Mhm.
that they've since sold. I've typically found the nicer the property, the higher end it is, the better care gets taken of it, and the smaller the little asks are. I find the lesser expensive properties or the better price point, uh, the more headaches you can find. Has been my personal experience, anyways. So we've been leaning to having really nice, clean units. Actually, a lesson I learned from a colleague of mine, Ken Dempsey. He had several rental properties, and I said, "What's the secret? How do you pick? How do you know what to buy?"
Yeah.
And he says, "My big litmus test is, would I live there? If the answer is
Uh,
yes, great, because it's a backup plan. If everything goes to heck in a handbasket, I have
yeah.
a place I can go to. And what kind of tenants am I attracting?"
Mhm.
Everybody always says, "Oh, who cares if the suite's dark and dingy? I don't have to live there. Only a tenant lives there." But again, who are you attracting?
Yeah. I love that. I feel the same way. Like, would I live here? Okay, I would. Yeah.
I think it's been an important question, and it holds the standard a little bit higher too. Is this something that we should do, or is it something that's necessary? Is also, a little bit of that litmus test.
100%. Oh yeah, this is awesome. Um, what else? Okay,
Um,
so
yeah,
do you have do you have them numbered? Because
I do.
I don't, okay, good. What number
we
are we on?
Being human is number 3.
Okay,
So I just did a presentation on this. That's why I have these
yeah,
all laid out. Um, like another example, we had a property come up, and it's a freestanding house downtown. This is in January of this year. Where the rental market's a little bit soft right now. It's like a 2010 build. It's 2,000 square feet, 3 bedrooms and a den. It's nice, double garage, and we're just not getting any traction. Not getting any traction. Like I say, the rental market's soft. So what we did is we went to all of our other tenants and said, "Hey guys, are you looking to upgrade? Here's a great property you can move up to, because their unit would be less expensive, would be easier to rent. It's easier to sell Honda Civics than it is Ferraris. I'd
yeah.
rather be renting a Honda Civic in this market." So not that it's a Ferrari, but you understand the point.
No, I understand. It's a Ferrari
So
compared to
yeah,
a 1948
yeah, yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah. That's
I know
exactly
what you're
right.
talking about.
And so
Yeah,
these tenants from this 1960s house said, "Actually, you know what? We would love a second bedroom, and we would love more space, and we would love a garage, and we would love all these things. This makes sense for us. So let's move in." So they're going to move in for March 1st, but it's now February 10th.
yeah,
And they said, "Okay, well, I guess we have to wait until March 1st." So no, go for it. Start moving now. I know you're excited.
yeah,
Property's sitting empty. It's going to make their world, and we can start showing the other unit earlier as well. So
yeah,
just understanding that life happens, I think, is also really important.
yeah. Oh my gosh, that is really smart. Dip into your existing rental pool.
They're good
If,
tenants.
well, yeah, if you have a pool, you might as well use it like a literal pool,
Yeah,
swimming
yeah,
pool,
yeah.
right?
Totally.
Colin, you are a great audience. You're laughing at all of my jokes. I'll pay you later, man.
Okay,
Pay you
okay.
later. Um, Also, oh my gosh. So, so smart to do that. Gold nugget from that. It's tough to raise rents significantly. Were you able to up the rent on on the move out from that
Uh,
house?
it was pretty similar. We
Okay.
the house that our tenants moved out of, the rent maybe changed $50. It like
Okay.
this winter was rough.
Yeah,
The house that they moved into, rent stayed similar. We maybe got $50 more than we were getting before, um, just because of the soft market.
yeah, I get it. And the time of year can
Totally.
impact at $150 to $200 a month.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Tremendously.
yeah, so, oh, wow. Well, that's good. That's good. That really, really smart sound. It just sounds like you reduced your turnover costs significantly
Totally.
and no
Totally.
marketing
Yep.
or less marketing. Yeah,
Yep.
that's awesome.
No, it was good.
Okay, keep going.
Other lessons. It's really easy to manage properties if you do it right. If you
Yeah.
have the right systems in place, if you place
Mhm.
the right tenants. If you don't have the right systems and you don't place the right tenants, it can be a nightmare.
Mhm.
I'm sure most people know that. I learned about variable rate mortgages
Mhm.
and how
Wait,
much fun
real
that
quick,
is.
I have a quick question about tenant management.
Yeah,
Do you self-manage or do you have a property management company?
we self-manage. I'm very lucky. I have hired my mother, who is going to be
Oh,
retiring soon. But she's so good. She's good at checking in on things. So we run a pretty tight ship. We drive by the properties once a week, make sure everything's looking good. If there's weeds to pull, we pull them. We do have all the grass professionally cut. That's built into the rent or into the utilities so that everything looks good all the time. Um, and picking people is the trickiest part. So I'm looking to try and replace her right now, and because she wants to retire. And try, how do you know if somebody is a good judge of character? How do you test that? How can you find everybody thinks they're, I mean, not everybody, but many people think they're a good judge of character.
yeah.
But how do
There
you
is something,
know?
well, there's something about women, if you ask me. We seem to have a gut instinct about people. I think that's as a result of evolution. So let's talk about that. I think that, just women are physically less strong than men.
Okay.
And so men can just fight somebody off, but a woman has to kind of use her gut to avoid tricky situations. At
Ah,
least I
nice.
think, not to say that I haven't made a bad judgment call, because I
Sure.
certainly have. Um, yeah, like, oh, we got some stories. But it sounds like your mom and women, to me, what I have found is women tend to be a little more nurturing. So your tenants are your customers, and so women are, they just tend to be
Mhm.
take kind of of course, like a maternal attitude toward taking care of people.
Totally.
That's what I
Totally.
think. That's my opinion.
Well, and so again, back to the question, how do you find the right person? Like
Yeah.
we don't have a crazy portfolio. We have probably 11 units
Mhm.
across 5 properties. So it's not crazy, but it's enough that it's a handful. And I think we could hire somebody and pay them a salary to manage the properties. And I have somebody else that's also looking, has a similar handful, and maybe we pull it together, and then we have 20 units that need to be maintained and looked after. So I've liked the idea of hiring somebody specifically,
Mhm.
rather than a property manager who's managing 100 doors or 150 or whatever it is.
Yeah, your competition,
Totally.
managing your competition, right?
Managing your competition and the level of care, they have their job to do. I can't describe to them or prescribe to them the attention to detail that we're looking for. Um, so again, trying to find the right person has been tricky, and maybe we break it up with a daily management type
Mhm.
person, and then I end up placing tenants for a while. I don't know yet. We'll see.
Well,
Uh,
it goes back to when we're talking about your tech. Sometimes you got to hop in the pilot seat, right?
yeah,
If you need to.
yeah,
Um, do
or at
you
least
want
for a
to
time,
know, do you want, I thought of an idea for you. Well,
please.
this is what's going to happen for sure.
Okay.
Real estate investors are going to be listening to this or watching this, and I'm losing my voice. Hold on 2 seconds. Let me just deal with that. That's better. If you are interested in real estate investing and you consider yourself a good customer service type person, and you want to learn from somebody who has a great track record and knows the Kelowna market inside and out, talk to Colin.
Sure.
it's a great way to learn
Yep.
perhaps one of the most important skills, which is tenant management, because that's like we talked about your backup plan being, would I live there?
Mhm.
Your next backup plan is if it's, like if you're not originally owning something to put a tenant in, like if you don't know tenant management and you end up having to hold on to a property, say unexpectedly, or do what you did, Colin, which is you moved out of your house and then you place tenants, right? Oh, it's an incredible skill to learn and you get paid to learn. So win-win.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, if anybody has any interest, reach out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome.
I learned about variable rate mortgages because, you know,
Yeah.
it was too good to be true. So why not put everything you own on variable rate mortgages? That seems like a good idea, right? So we're all variable right now, which has played havoc with cash flows, certainly.
Yeah.
We're with BMO, so everything is fixed payment, variable rate. We did increase all our payments by 20%, I don't know, a year ago, a year and a half ago, whatever that was. Still not even close to enough. In some cases, I have a property that is basically just paying interest only right now. So it's an exciting experience having been fixed the whole other time the rest of my life that I've ever owned real estate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and you just gotta ride through the storm. But putting all your eggs in one basket maybe isn't always the best answer.
It's been tricky. The variable rates. Oh man, when they were at 1.3, 1.2. Oh man,
Well, it was a
that was
no-brainer, right?
fun.
The gap between fixed and variable at the time was at least 1%, I think more,
It's like double. It's like, oh,
right?
do I want to pay double? Do I
Yeah,
want to pay 2.8 when I can pay
totally.
1.4? That's crazy.
And then the government comes out and says, "Oh, we're going to hold rates low for a long time." Oh, okay. Well, I'll believe you. Naive Colin. Oh boy.
Well, you sound like you have an incredibly positive attitude about it. Well, I'll tell you, folks, that is sometimes 80% of the battle.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's an
you
adventure.
have to. It's an adventure.
It's
It's an
exciting.
adventure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I use those words when I'm describing challenging.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
All right.
Last lesson I have marked down has to do with tax planning. So
Mhm.
we ended up renovating our house. We did a big gut and spent a ton of money. And we ended up pulling the equity out of our house to do that. In hindsight, I probably should have used the Smith maneuver and pulled the equity out of our house to buy a rental property and then use cash from the company to renovate our house as a shareholder's loan. So the Smith maneuver basically is you pull the equity out of your house, whether that's by a line of credit or a second mortgage or something like that, and then you use that to buy an investment. Maybe it's in the stock market, maybe it's real estate, and then you can write that interest off, even though it's part of your principal residence.
Yeah.
So I did this backwards because at the time I just wasn't thinking. So hindsight is everything. That's how we should have handled this, and that would have been a much more advantageous way of doing it.
Did you know about the Smith maneuver before you decided to do that?
I did, but just had forgotten. And at the time,
Yeah.
we had just bought another property. And when we were buying that, we weren't really thinking about renovating yet either. And it just one thing kind of happened after the other. It wasn't this big plan,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And we had the cash in the company. I said, well, why would I pull equity out of something else? That would never have crossed my mind. So in hindsight, look bigger picture.
What a valuable lesson, because somebody's going to learn about that right now. That's maybe
Yeah, Google
thinking of
it. Check it
renovating,
out.
right? So if you're
Totally.
thinking of renovating your principal residence, then reach out to Colin. He'll walk you through
Yeah,
woulda,
or
coulda,
Google it.
shoulda. Or we have a we have a Smith maneuver recording.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in our library
Perfect.
from Robinson Smith. Yeah, it was
Oh, nice.
yeah, he's a great guy. I'd love to have him come up here.
Is
Do you know
that
him?
no, I don't. That's his son, right? Robinson?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's his son, Robinson, right?
Yeah, nice.
Um, yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good man. Mhm.
Tremendous. No, never
Yeah.
met him.
Yeah. So, folks, if you're looking for that, reach out to me. I'll send you a copy of the
Perfect.
recording, or better yet, talk to Colin.
Yeah.
Plus, he can help you get he can help you get
I'm
a
still here.
house, an
My
investment
video just
property.
dropped. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I think it says EOS webcam utility.
Yeah, I don't know if the battery died. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Or it needs, can you plug it in?
Yeah.
Well, take your time. No no
Okay.
worries
Give me a
whatsoever.
second.
Yeah. I'll um I'll talk about the Smith maneuver real quick. So, folks, I'm gonna try to simplify this. If you have equity on your house and you can go to the bank and get you can talk to a mortgage broker that's familiar with the strategy, or you can go to the bank and get get a line of credit on your house. And so the way that you treat your income is through your line of credit. And what it does is it accelerates how quickly your mortgage gets paid down. And also you can do what Colin is recommending that you do. You can buy another investment property. So when you use debt to buy an investment property, then you can write off all of that interest versus using debt on your house to do renovations. You can't write off that interest because it's not an investment, it's your principal residence. And I'm not an accountant, so make sure you talk to your accountant first about going into any of these strategies. How's your tech coming along, Colin? I think he's muted himself. What else can I talk about? We were talking about he was talking about what was he talking about? Here I am trying to fill, you know what? We're just going to be able to there he is. I think he's plugged in. Uh this goes back to good thing he's a tech guy because I can see that there's no longer, oh, he's muted. Colin, I don't know if you know this, but you're muted. Sitting here enjoying my Tim Hortons coffee. It's roll up the rim. And also March Madness. Can you hear me? Killing time.
Yeah, I can. You're doing great. I don't know. It's not coming back, but that's okay. So we'll just continue.
It's totally okay. It's fine. This is called hey, this is what happens. It's all good. So let's okay. Now, did you do we started talking about the final.
Yeah, that was the Smith maneuver. That was it.
That's awesome. Okay, so we almost made it. Now it's just me, which is fine. Hello, everybody. And we also have this in audio recording. So a lot of them are like, what? I don't understand what's happening here. Well, I hope I've done a good job of explaining it. Did I leave anything out when it came to the Smith maneuver when I was describing it? Were you able to listen to what I was saying, Colin?
I was not listening.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
had
I
my
did the
headphones
best
off.
that I could, but again, we've got Robinson Smith, the son of the inventor of this strategy, who wrote a book. It's called The Smith Maneuver. Check it out if you haven't already. Okay, well, this is good timing then because your camera stopped working. A lot of great information, so many gold nuggets. Colin, what is the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Just look at the website, kriegfamily.ca, KRIEG family.ca.
Awesome. And the link to them and directly to Colin will be right around here. And if you can't find it for whatever reason, you just find me and I will definitely get you Colin's information. If you are thinking of buying or selling a house, whether you're a real estate investor or not, whoever you are, you know somebody who is, and you're in the Kelowna area, Kelowna, West Kelowna, anywhere in the Okanagan, really,
Totally.
make sure you reach out to Colin. He is a great guy. He can give you strategies that are very practical based on his own experience. And he's, as you can see, he's got a terrific personality and a good way of, just staying positive. I would like to, we'll do another podcast about the Kelowna market another time. Does that sound okay, Colin?
Sure, anytime. I'm happy to
Okay.
share.
Let's make sure and do that in the next 6 weeks or so if you're not
Okay.
too busy.
Yeah, sounds good.
And we can even do it when we can even have an event before, after things quiet down, maybe. We'll just see how things go and stay
Okay,
connected. Sound good?
sounds great. Thanks for having me, Julie.
Yeah, my pleasure. So everybody, thanks so much for listening. Make sure you contact Colin for your real estate investment and real estate purchase and sale needs. I like to leave off with a quote. This is from President Roosevelt. And it is Dwight D. Roosevelt. No, that's Eisenhower. Roosevelt. I forget his first name. This quote is, real estate cannot be lost or stolen. Purchased with care, managed with care, and paid for in full. It is just about the best investment in the world. So keep that in mind when
Love
you're thinking
it.
about your investment options, right? Isn't that a great
That's
quote?
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. We will see you next time.